fun hour we're going to have where we honor the saints, because the saints are everywhere. Wait till you hear what we're talking about, and I bet you're going to want to weigh in, and you're going to share something that's near and dear to you, maybe like a street name, a town, a city, somewhere near you that where you live has been named after a saint. Did you know that that is the patron of that area? How exciting is that? So here's the number, 1-800-585-9396. Jerry, I love the title, The Saints Are Everywhere.
The saints are everywhere, and we don't often really recognize or keep that in our minds. So as Debbie said, dear friends, maybe you live on a street that is named after a saint, or we have a lot of cities in this country, especially where I live in California, because of the missionaries, a lot of cities and towns named after Catholic saints. And really the question is not just so much, yes, I do, or no, I don't, but do you think about that saint? Do you maybe cultivate a particular devotion, pray for that saint's intercession? I had an experience, Debbie, really cool. I shared with you and Rich, our producer, off the air, but I want to share with our listeners. I'm at Lamb Radio in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we're wrapping up a great pledge drive this afternoon at 6 local time. And one of the board members who's here came to me just a few minutes ago, and he said, "Hey, did I hear that your show today is about saints and saint names and towns and cities and streets?" I said, yeah, it's going to be a really cool conversation. He says, "Well, that's interesting because I live on St. Francis Street."
Oh,
so
see,
it just
wonderful.
kind of right immediately, right there, we got kind of a confirmation, and it hit home for me.
It is, but what's beautiful about that, Jerry, is that it brought to his consciousness, his awareness, that St. Francis is watching over. St. Francis is active in that area. I mean, I think we forget that sometimes, that the communion of saints, they're very active in ministry, and it's important for us to recognize them. I always love flying in, Jerry, to Sacramento, California, named after the Blessed Sacrament. I mean, it's so beautiful. Even when I say it, Sacramento, it just has such a power to it. And, maybe you've never really realized that the area you live in has been named after or consecrated to a saint. And that is the patron of your special area. So share with us today. Maybe you never realized it, or you do realize it, and you know that saint is very active, like San Antonio, maybe. Hint, hint. Lots of places that the saints, St. Anthony, St. Francis, we can go on and on of how the saints are so active in our lives. 1-800-585-9396.
I was thinking about this during the night, about the show topics, as you and I both tend to do, respectively, Debbie. And I was wondering, like Los Angeles, for example, it means the angels, of course, but
that's right.
The official original name is much more beautiful and much longer than that. And I wonder if 99% of the people in Los Angeles, first of all, don't know what the original name of their city is, and really don't really think about it. But I did a little research on this. The original name is El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de los Ángeles del Río Porciúncula.
Okay.
And in English,
Translate.
that means town of Our Lady. Town of Our Lady. No, well. Yeah, it says here on the internet, Town of Our Lady, the Queen of Angels of the River Porciúncula. But I've also heard it means, Nuestra Señora de los Ángeles, or Reina de los Ángeles, Our Lady, Queen of the Angels. So,
Queen of the Angels.
It's just beautiful, the Catholic influence. It's all over this country.
Oh, absolutely. Well, St. Junipero Serra, we can credit a lot to, and like you said, Jerry, the missionaries of going into the areas and realizing the importance of naming areas after the Catholic influence of saints and our sacraments and everything else. And how wonderful is that? So maybe this could change the way you feel about where you live, and you could educate your children and grandchildren, and to realize that we are all connected, and the saints are working in our lives and where we live. 1-800-585-9396. I was hinting because the first call that came in is actually from San Antonio, Texas, which I'm excited to get to. But, Jerry, St. Francis, St. Anthony, St. Teresa, St. Padre Pio, they're my go-to saints, and I just absolutely love it. And to know that towns and places are named after them, wow. This is going to be a great show. This is Take Two with Jerry Jerry and Debbie. We want to hear from you, so don't sit this out. Join in. This is your show. We'll be right back.
"60 on 10 with Monsignor Charles Pope."
The fifth commandment, you shall not kill. At the heart of this commandment is an absolute insistence on the sacredness of human life. We read in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, "Before I ever formed you in the womb, I knew you, says the Lord." So every human life is sacred because it's caught up in the mind and the heart and the will and the love of God. And no matter how we're conceived or any of the circumstances, God has always known and loved every human person. And for this reason, we are to hold sacred every human life. And we are to, therefore, never murder, never kill, never seek vengeance. Of course, we have issues of abortion, euthanasia today. We have so many ways where we in some way disrespect the lives of other human persons. And even our own life, we have to learn to respect it as a great gift from God. The fifth commandment, you shall not kill.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Carry EWTN with you everywhere when you download the EWTN app. You can enjoy EWTN TV and radio live streams, shows on demands, prayers and devotionals, and the latest Catholic news. Visit EWTNapps.com today.
We know you like listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio, but have you thought about bringing them to your next event? No matter what type of event you're hosting, parish mission, conference, or retreat, trust Jerry and Debbie to make it come alive. Begin the process today of taking your presentation to the next level of success. For information on booking Jerry and Debbie, visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo.
This is Bishop William Medley of the Diocese of Owensboro.
This is Al Cresta, host of Cresta in the Afternoon.
Hi, I'm Archbishop William Laurie, the Archbishop of Baltimore, and you're listening to EWTN Radio.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Thanks to our show team, Rich Jesse, our producer, Jeff Burson, who handles the social media and the memes that we post on our website. Matt Kabensky, usually our call screener. Jeff's doing that today. Matt is away at his grandmother's funeral, so please keep her in your prayers. Debbie, you said her name yesterday. It was it Lucy, I believe?
Lucy.
Which means light. Isn't that beautiful? I'm sure she's named after St. Lucy. So really cool. Today, folks, we're asking you, do you live on a street, live in a city, have something, maybe a business, a corporation, something around you that's named after a Catholic saint? If so, we want to drill down a little bit and just ask you: Does it enter your mind that hey, this is really there's maybe the patronage of that particular saint is here. You can pray for their intercession. Maybe you have consecrated your home to a saint that you live on a street. I'll tell you, Debbie, driving through Southern California, it's like when you look at the freeway signs, it's like looking at a litany of saints.
Yeah.
Because they're all over the place. Same. You have a lot in Saint
in
names
Arizona,
in the Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, we do. We do. But it would be interesting, Jerry, to go out on the streets in California and ask people if they are aware of the fact that their whole entire state, pretty much, is named after something of a Catholic influence. And it would be interesting to see how many are truly aware of it. Because you just accept it when you live there, and you kind of take it in stride. You were talking about naming things after saints. You know, Jerry, that our Marty and I have a couple businesses that we do. Marty's real estate business, and then our farming, our gardening business. And we named it all. Everything's named after Grace because it's all about grace. But then I started thinking, Our Lady of Grace, and it's very, very interesting how when you incorporate beautiful spiritual names and the essence of our Catholic faith, it takes on a whole new meaning. So let's go right to Art in San Antonio, Texas, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Art. Welcome to Take Two.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
We are excited. Here in San Antonio, we're celebrating Fiesta Week. So a little bit about the history of San Antonio. On 13 June 1691, the Franciscan friars, coming up from then New Spain, now modern-day Mexico, encountered the Anahuac Indians at a river crossing here in San Antonio, the conjuncture of what's now today San Antonio. They were so happy that they weren't massacred by the natives. They celebrated the holy sacrifice of the Mass, and decided to dedicate the site to the feast of Saint Anthony, right? Since they were Franciscans. So a little while later, in 1517, the Franciscans found the first of the 5 missions that originate in San Antonio. You know what today is the Alamo? It's San Antonio de Valero, right?
Right.
And just across the river, and in the next year, in 1518, they found the Cathedral of San Fernando, which is the cathedral Archbishop Gustavo the Alamo Apostle today, still stands today. So next year, San Antonio will celebrate the 300th anniversary of the founding of the city.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know all that.
Fascinating information. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Last year, 5 missions were dedicated as a UNESCO site, United Nations World Heritage Site. So there's a very great tour. It's a combination of national parks, the Archdiocese of San Antonio, and UNESCO get together to make a great experience, historical, cultural, also religious. The 5 missions are still active parishes in the Archdiocese of San Antonio today. So we invite everybody to come down.
Wow. Well, Art, I have to tell you, there was a call right behind you from San Antonio, Texas, and they dropped off. They probably figured you're doing such a great job representing the town that you could take care of it.
I run into them down at the Market Square because we're celebrating Fiesta Week down here, the commemoration of Texas independence, the Battle of Flowers at San Jacinto, because, the Alamo plays a big part in Texas independence history.
Right.
So no doubt they're looking at my 89.7 FM KJMA Guadalupe radio sticker in the Knights of Columbus and saying, hey,
cool.
Shout out, bro.
Very cool. Real quickly, the fiesta, what goes on there? Is there rides? Is there food? I'm always curious. What kind of fiesta?
Oh, absolutely. 10-day celebration, like I said, in honor of Texas independence, the Battle of Flowers. So various events around San Antonio. So, for example, this morning, Joint Base Lackland San Antonio held a special military parade to celebrate the military community. Franciscans are all about love, right? So San Antonio loves our military, loves our veterans, military and veterans here. Downtown here next to the Tower of the Americas, there's a festival going on with music, food, drinks, fun. I'm over here today at the Market Square, the old Mercado, where they had the marketplace. And there's also more music, food, and fun. And various organizations and associations around San Antonio host events, not just to celebrate the city and Texas independence, but to showcase what they bring, right?
Awesome.
Nice.
Art, that is your act is going to be hard to beat for our other callers, but you've obviously done a lot of research in that, and that festival sounds good. And next year's celebration, maybe Debbie and I will have to come and do a live show or something. That sounds.
I was
like
thinking
a
the
lot
same
of fun.
thing. Art, you got to invite us back. We want to go be part of the fiesta. Remember us next year. Will you do that?
The invitation is open all year round.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we will definitely try to take you up on that, Art. Thanks so much. We appreciate that. Debbie, we had a comment from a YouTube listener, and I have scrolled past it on my screen here. Can you see it?
Okay.
It had to do with Fresno, which is consecrated, I think, to the Little Flower.
The Little Flower. St. Teresa, the Little Flower. That flower is the patroness of Fresno. The Little Flower is. And Fresno is a Native American word meaning white ash tree.
Okay.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
for
Was there a name on that too of who sent that in? That was on our YouTube channel. Mike. Okay.
Mike sent
Sorry
it
about
in.
that. I'm my cursor, my arrow on my little computer here for the call screening thing is not working. So
I never knew
to...
Fresno was named after St. Teresa the Little Flower. I didn't know that. St. Teresa. I didn't know that.
Well, it's what did he say? It's an honor. It's under patronage. Yeah.
Yeah, under patronage.
That's really cool. Yeah.
I did not know that. That is fascinating. Wow. See how we're learning something? This is great. And then Art's call just leading it off. Thank you, Art, again so very, very much. Enjoy the fiesta. Eat lots of food for us. Okay. You know me, I'm all about eating the food. Okay, Mary, you are up next in West Virginia. Thank you, Mary, for waiting. Welcome to Take Two.
Well, hello.
Hi.
It was so exciting to hear about San Antonio because that was not what I was calling about, but my husband and I were volunteers at San Antonio Missions National Park, and we led tours there, and it was just like leading a Catholic tour, tours of the church and all about the saints and baptism. So it was great, but what I was really calling about is that we live in the East, but we live on St. Francis Street, and we also are in a Franciscan parish, and we could use St. Francis's help. You say he's probably working in our lives. They've instituted paid parking on St. Francis Street just 3 months ago, and it costs $3 an hour, and you have to have a smartphone app to do it and give lots of personal information out.
Oh, my goodness.
So this is very controversial here. There's been all these demonstrations, and the poor Reston Town Center is not doing well at all during the week, losing business. So it's kind of a sad situation here. So we appreciate the Saint of Poverty helping us out. Hope this will be resolved.
Wow.
Well, I would pray to him, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, ask St. Francis for your help. And, boy, it just sounds almost the reverse of what a town Debbie would think would do, because it's hurting commerce. That's the big thing. But also, I mean, $3 an hour to park, and I know what you're talking about, Mary, because I parked in Seattle recently, and I had to use my phone to do it, and they wanted all kinds of information, of course, my credit card and all this stuff, and I thought, man, is this the direction things are going?
That's what they say. That's their answer, that this is the way it's going.
Yeah.
Huh. Hey, Mary, so your street, St. Francis, it's after St. Francis Assisi, not St. Francis Xavier?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, yeah, well then I think we should ask for his intercession to help out, because you want the town to, and you make a good point, Mary, because here's the thing that I think we forget in this world is that there is a legacy. And it's important that we do honor, and it's interesting. I believe the towns and the streets and everything should reflect what it is named after, and so yeah, I think there's a direct connection, and I think it'd be wonderful. Let's all ask for his intercession and see what happens. You'll have to call us back. It might be a miraculous thing. You'll call back and say, "You're not going to believe this. Now it's free parking all year round."
All the meters have disappeared.
Yeah.
No meters. We wish there were meters. It would be a whole lot simpler.
Right, because of the app.
Yeah,
you're using the
right.
app.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's got to be difficult. Wow, Mary, but Mary, here's the other thing too. You're named after the Blessed Mother, so you're pretty special. That's pretty special. What's your middle name? I'm curious.
Kathleen.
Kathleen, nice, very nice. Well, God bless you, Mary. You're a sweet soul, and you live on St. Francis Street. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Have a blessed weekend. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And today we're asking you if you live on a street or in a town or a city, or somehow in a region, an area that there are saint names. Maybe I mentioned the board member of Lamb Radio, where I am this week for a pledge drive, came up and said this morning, I live on St. Francis Street. And if you do, does that move your heart to want to pray to that saint, develop a devotion to him or her? Do you even think about that, or does it just kind of, you just go about your day-to-day life and don't really think about it? 800-585-9396. All right, so Ron, hang on. You're right after Lynn. Lynn is in Houston, listening also to EWTN Radio on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Lynn. Welcome to Take Two.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Thank you. He is risen, hallelujah. I wanted to mention that when I had gone to receive Holy Communion from a priest, he said Corpus Christi, and I didn't know what he meant, and he said it a second time, Corpus Christi. I still looked at him. He said, Cuerpo de Cristo, body of Christ. Mm-hmm. And so we live in Texas, and not too far from San Antonio, in Houston, is the beautiful city of Corpus Christi, Texas.
That's right. That's right.
And growing up, I just knew that was, the seashore, that was the beach. So Corpus Christi wasn't something that I realized it meant body of Christ until the priest, it was dispensing the Holy Communion to me. And I do share that when I kind of evangelize wherever I am. I do bring those things up about Our Lady in Los Angeles and how now they only call, I first tell them what the name was before and that it was called Los Angeles and now it's only L.A. And so people say, no, I'm going to keep calling it Los Angeles, and I let them know it was named for the Virgin, so Virgin Mary. And so it's just beautiful to have all these names and, like you said, like litany of saints with us. But I often bring that up to people, Christians that may be falling away, letting them know that towns are named after saints, and also, like you said, Sacramento and Corpus Christi, of course. God bless
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely, Lynn. See, that's beautiful. I have a few relatives that live right outside of Corpus Christi, and some friends. And every time I say Corpus Christi, I just love it. I just love saying the body of Christ. It's just absolutely beautiful. So, Lynn, thank you for just having the excitement of realizing that it is up to us to constantly be aware that we are surrounded by this beautiful communion of saints that are hoping and praying that we get to heaven. I just think it's amazing, and it keeps us connected, and it makes us feel like we're journeying together. We're not alone in things. So, Lynn, thank you. Your spirit is contagious. I love it.
God bless you, and thank you. And I appreciate that you said that, because it makes me know that this is not something that, what a coincidence. No, I think that by hearing you see this, it was meant to be this way. It was given to us, and they're just fruits of the Holy Spirit and gifts from God for us, that we're surrounded by the saints, and beautiful, knowing that He's here, He's with us, and
right.
And like the other day, the gospel had said, and the priest made sure to tell us, say this as your prayer: stay with us, Lord. Stay with us. So this is a part of showing that He is with us, always with us. God bless you. Thank you.
Amen.
Bless you,
Thank
Lynn.
you, Lynn.
Yeah, and what this shows, it just shows that those, especially the missionaries and the early, people who settled the cities and towns and so forth in our country in many areas, were very, very conscious of the presence of God in their lives and their mission, their responsibility to spread the faith, and their desire to really claim, if you will, to claim the earth. The earth is God's. All of the earth is God's. And so I think this is beautiful. All right, Ron, we're going to get to you in South Bend, Indiana. Redeemer Radio Share-a-thon coming up next week, Ron. So we welcome you to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We got 2 minutes till a break, Ron, so we can get started, and if we have to, we'll hold you over. So go ahead. How are you?
Sounds good. Hey, I'm calling from St. Joseph County in northern Indiana.
Oh, cool.
Also the home of the University of Notre Dame, home of St. Mary's College, home of Holy Cross College. The river that runs through our county is St. Joseph County. We've got St. Joseph Street, we've got St. Joseph High School, we've got Marion High School. I went to Marion High School, also went to St. Jude Grade School. Several parishes and schools, in fact. We've got a Holy Cross School, we've got Corpus Christi School. So this area is very saturated in the Catholic identity. And in fact, today on my way to where I am is when I tuned in and heard what you're asking for, and I happen to be going to a presentation at my son's school. He's dressed up as St. Francis today of all days. So it's just an amazing show. I've always been mindful of the Catholic presence here, and I appreciate your show for what you're bringing up.
Ron, can you hold through the break? Ron, I've got a question I wanted to ask. Are you in a hurry to go? If you are, you can, but if you can hold for just a minute, would you be able to do
sure.
that?
I can hold.
Okay, yeah, I'm really curious about something here, and we're right up against this hard, immovable break. In fact, as if right on cue, magically or mystically, there's that music that Rich always puts in our ears, and we can't move this one. So we'll be right back. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie talking about the saints, the influence. They are all around us, and I am really, really jealous of Ron. That's one thing I'm going to say before, but that's not what I wanted to ask him.
It's time for Family Man with Dr. Gregory Popchak.
What does it take to create a truly joyful family life? It might be easier than you think. Researchers at the University of Illinois found that families who made regular time for simple things like family dinners, game night, family days, family prayer, and even working together on household chores were much happier and more stable than families that spent their time on other activities in their community and school. In fact, the families that made time for these simple rituals were less likely to have kids with school or emotional problems, or deal with promiscuity or drug and alcohol issues, and the parents had happier marriages and greater life satisfaction to boot. If you want to experience your family life as a gift, take time unwrapping that gift by investing in those simple activities of family life that enable you to get to know one another and stay connected to one another. I'm Dr. Greg Popchak, but you can call me Family Man.
To discover more ways faith can enrich your life, visit CatholicCounselors.com.
Hello, I'm Jerry Usher, host of Vocation Boom Radio. It's heard every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time here on EWTN Radio. We like to shine a light on the beauty, the glory, the dignity of the Catholic priesthood and all that God is doing to raise up holy, happy, healthy vocations in our day. We're going to talk with Father Garrett Nelson this week. He's the vocation director in the Diocese of Great Falls, Billings, Montana. Hope you can join us. God bless.
EWTN is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your cable or satellite provider doesn't carry EWTN's full programming lineup, give them a call and let them know you would like to receive EWTN 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For more information, go to EWTN.com and click on Television.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
In South Bend, Indiana, who is just basically buried in saints, saint names, churches, streets, the whole area, rivers, lakes. It's fantastic. Ron, before I ask you the follow-up question, I just wanted to issue a bit of a correction. That Vocation Boom Radio promo for tomorrow was recorded prior to a couple of things have happened with my schedule. I'm going to be traveling, and we just could not get a fill-in host for tomorrow. So we're going to reschedule Father Garrett Nelson and have an encore of a show I did with Father Larry Rice, who's the director of vocations for the Paulist Fathers in New York. So just wanted to give all the loyal VBR listeners that heads up. But Ron, I'm curious. This is maybe a simple question, but do you sense that, I don't know if you ever do this, or any people that you know, but is there ever anyone who takes for granted just the great blessing it is to live in an area like you do, South Bend, with Notre Dame and St. Mary's University and all of the streets and just the saturation of the saints, which is almost like being, in a warm bath all the time in terms of our faith. Yeah, I wonder, do you find anybody that just kind of is nonchalant about that and maybe takes it for granted, the great history that you have?
Well, I'm sure there are several out there that don't fully appreciate the history, the settling. We had a lot of Polish immigrants, Hungarian immigrants, a lot of Catholic immigrants, basically, that settled here and started schools like St. Adalbert, churches, parishes, St. Hedwig, St. Patrick's. I mean, we've got in our diocese, a lot of Catholic. There's just a big saturation, and I've always been mindful. I grew up in it, so I've always had a fascination with history anyway. But not to make it any more awkward than it needs to be. But I do get the sense that you think about the separation of church and state and how. Will there come a day when St. Joseph County can't be allowed to be called St. Joseph County anymore, or something like that? Where the government, St. Joseph County government, basically, I hope that it won't happen, but it does cross my mind that I do feel blessed while it's allowed to be, and hopefully others come to appreciate it as much as I do.
Well, yeah, let's pray that never happens, because that would be a very sad time for our kids and our grandkids. But Ron, you just gave me a really good thought. You I'm sure your parishes maybe have done this, but there's always activities that we try to do with junior high and high school. I think it would be just fun to do like almost like a game where you have the kids go around the town and they have to name, or they have to spot so many different saints or Catholic terms that are in your area, and it's kind of like a fun, almost a scavenger hunt, or take pictures of them and put them in, kind of a game type of thing. I think it would be a blast, because that would make the kids realize and be mindful that they are literally surrounded with beautiful phrases and saints, and it's just a great reminder of how we should hold on to our Catholic faith and treat it as precious. So that's cool, Ron. I'm glad you called in. Jerry shared right before the break that he's jealous. As you were listing all of the terms and names around you, I was thinking the same thing. I'm going, Ron, you're so lucky.
I know. I do. I am mindful of it. Like I said, I know many who are as well. Hopefully your show brings more of that awareness. Mm-hmm. So we do have a good listener following here on 95.7.
Nice. Thank you.
So we appreciate what you're doing.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you.
Ron.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Redeemer Radio's Spring Share-a-thon is next week. Sherry Brownrigg will actually be in South Bend for the that part of the diocese for their first couple of days. Then I'll be in Fort Wayne Wednesday through Friday. And then Debbie, you and I and Wendy Templeton will be at the Station of the Cross the following week. I'm at Lamb Radio this week. Folks, it is Pledge Drive season. Please, please give to your Catholic station. Give to EWTN. Give to the platforms that carry the shows that you love and listen to, because without the stations and EWTN, there wouldn't be any shows at all. So please do.
Right. Absolutely. Patty, you have been waiting so patiently, and you are calling in from Pennsylvania. You're listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Patty. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much. My story's a little bit off of your direction that you all are in, but I just find it so intriguing to listen. And I feel, just as the gentleman that was speaking prior to my call, that, if you drive your car and you have the radio off and you just look around, there's always going to be something that is sacred around you, be it the person in the car next to you, a look, a feeling, a prayer, something come over, not just necessarily a church or a shrine or anything. But I think that it has to come from your inner soul, and you have to believe in it, and you have to have that faith. And I grew up Catholic, going to church every Sunday, going to communion every Sunday, going to Catholic school. However, I don't think that I really ever realized what everything meant until I got older and went through difficulties and relied on my faith as strong as I did. And have and still do, and people don't realize it. And I've learned more in my 60s now and in 50s and 60s than I ever learned through my years of Catholic school. But it's because of the way I think that it is portrayed and it's taught to these kids in the school that it's difficult for them to understand. And we have so much around us. Our Lady of Czestochowa is not far from where we live. Everybody, no matter where you live, you're talking about San Antonio, you're talking about different towns in Sacramento and all of it. And I was telling my first call initially that Debbie had mentioned your favorites, St. Anne, St. Anthony, St. Teresa, St. Pio. And that's what struck me to call, because St. Pio, we have a shrine in Bartow, Bartow, a St. Pio shrine. And if you ever get to Pennsylvania and you are on the East Coast, you must go to the shrine. I'm telling you, if you want to go and spend 15 minutes, forget about it. It'll be 3 to 5 hours. I could go every day of the week and still see something different in that shrine. And you walk out of there and you have a feeling and a presence that you can't even explain. And I have a stepson that had a horrific car accident in Pittsburgh, a graduate of the University of Pitt, president of his fraternity. and has been in what we now call traumatic brain injury, prior to that coma, for 5.5 years. But it is with the blessing of St. Pio. And St. Pio's glove, twice, we have had it blessed. And it was day before Thanksgiving and the Friday after Easter, the first time in 2015. And every day since then, we have blessed him with his holy oil and said the novena every single day, without a doubt. And the difference that we are seeing, and when you pray next to Zachary, and I pray the guardian angel prayer with him and the Blessed Mother to bless St. Pio, it's just, he's in there and his eyes look at you and he just, you know he's hearing you and he's feeling it. And he didn't grow up, unfortunately, with the spirit around him as I did. And his dad as well, we pray so hard and we know that he's going to be okay. And it's not because of the doctors, and it's not because of anybody else except for our faith.
Right.
And people really are needing to do that, and they often, I think, don't wait until something there is a tragedy. And to me, that is tragic. That is tragic, because I have all my life prayed, and in 1983 had the Blessed Mother appear to me. So I have always felt very blessed. And it's funny because so many people will talk about the Catholic Church and that it's just a money-making. Really, what church isn't? What church isn't? But it's not about the money, and it's not about the building. It's about what's in your heart and the spirit that comes with it.
Well, you know, Patty, I was going to ask for your stepson's name, so I'm glad that you mentioned Zachary. And Debbie, I saw you. Debbie and I communicate via Skype during the show, and I saw Debbie writing down his name. We have a book of prayers, Patty, that we keep lifted up, and we will definitely be praying for Zachary. But that is just such great news to hear about his progress, and we're so very sorry to hear about what happened. But Debbie, I agree with Patty so very much. He's going to be fine. He may not have been raised with the faith necessarily, but he now has people who love him who are bringing that faith to him. I'm reminded of that story in the New Testament where the people open up the roof and lower the paralytic down to Jesus, and it was their faith that really was a blessing in the eyes of Jesus. So Debbie, that was a beautiful call what Patty shared, just some beautiful sentiments.
Patty, you're very
you have time. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, Patty, you have a very strong devotion, obviously, to your faith, and obviously to the Blessed Mother. What's beautiful about it is in your strong devotion that will spread, and that's what's happening, and it's wonderful. So keep that faith, and spread it like you're doing to all around you. I'm glad you mentioned Padre Pio's shrine. This is actually, since we've been doing the show, Jerry, this is the third time I've heard about this shrine in Pennsylvania, Patty, and I can promise you one thing: I will visit it, but hopefully, well, I shouldn't say I promise, God willing, I will visit it before I leave this earth, because I anything with Padre Pio, thank you for sharing. And anyone else, if you have anything else about Padre Pio, please share it with me, because he's just, I have his, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 Padre Pio pictures sitting in my studio right now. So
Patty, bless you. We got a lot of calls, so we're going to try to get as many people as we can in. It's funny too. You mentioned this Padre Pio coming up again, because Debbie, when I was sitting at this very desk in this office at Lamb Catholic Radio in Sioux Falls for their fall pledge drive last fall in September, we did the show on Padre Pio. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
I was sitting right here.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I got chills.
And they're giving away. For anyone who calls, they're giving third-class relics of Padre Pio during their pledge drive this week. So
no way, really?
Yeah, way.
Wow. For anyone that calls?
Yeah.
I got a call.
Well,
wow.
I better not give out the number, because that's for Lamb Radio listeners.
Did I just say no way and you just say way? That is so junior. That is so junior high-ish. But I love it.
All right, again, bless you, Patty. Thanks.
Thank you, Patty.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
All right. Hey, friends, don't forget to go to EWTN Religious Catalog. They've got a lot. Oftentimes, they will bundle items together so that you can save money. And right now, there is an incredible special. You remember Mother Angelica. We all loved her so much, and we all still pray for her. And right now, EWTN has her book, Mother Angelica's Answers, Not Promises, along with a 4-inch statue of El Divino Niño. She loved the divine child, Jesus. and a 4-inch statue along with Mother's book, and it's 20% off when you buy the two of them together. Just put in code BUN, short for bundle, BUN in the search bar, and you will find that at EWTNRC.com.
By the way, Jerry, do you know, talking about that Padre Pio show that we did last year right at this time, that was our biggest viewed YouTube show. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that.
I don't know if I knew that or not.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, people love Padre Pio.
I know, I was just
like
going to say. Everybody loves Padre Pio. Okay, John, you're up next in San Jose, listening on EWTN.com. Hi, John. Welcome.
Hey, John.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Just calling in. I live in San Jose, California, which is not far from San Francisco. It's also not far from Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
And, yeah, you're totally
keep
right.
going, John.
San Rafael, San Ramon, San Pedro.
And I live on a street called Santa Fe. So Holy Faith.
There you go.
So, John, so do I. I live on Santa Fe.
Do you really?
Yeah,
yeah. It's definitely a source of Catholic pride. I taught catechism for many, many years and would always go through the list of cities or have the kids try to name as many cities in the Bay Area that they could think of that are named after saints, just to kind of foster some pride in the Catholic history of our state. And it's no matter how liberal and well, I can't think of nicer words, but liberal this area is, that we can't get away from the fact that it was Catholicism that played such a huge role in our state's history.
Right. Well, yeah, you're blessed. I mean, every time I go to California, I just go up and down California. I'm like, my goodness, it's just, like beyond saturated. Which, maybe there's no accident to that. You talked about the culture of some of the Californians and in the sense of viewing religion and stuff like that. But maybe it's time we swing the pendulum back, where people start to realize that how beautiful it is that our good Lord has blessed us with these beautiful saint names all around us in the state of California. I agree with you, John. The more we can raise awareness, the more we can keep it up. I think the bigger sense of a good pride we will have in our Catholic heritage.
Yeah, and it definitely keeps the door open, because they will admire they'll admire the missions, and they'll admire the art, and they'll admire kind of dance around the God aspect. But it does keep a door open. So come in and admire the missions, and then maybe stay for Mass and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I agree with you, John. Even if people are just going to the missions as kind of a touristy thing to do, almost like they'd go into a museum. The presence of God is there, and maybe their motive for going in isn't necessarily to stop and kneel for a few minutes and pray and then look at the beauty of it, but just to kind of see it from sort of a secular standpoint. Who knows what the grace of God can do in that particular moment. So, anything else, John, you wanted to add?
No. That was it. Just happy Easter to both of you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you. And I didn't realize this. You have to double check this, Jerry, because you're so quick on the internet. But I didn't realize Santa Fe means holy faith.
Yes, it sure does. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I've been living on Santa Fe.
Lives on Santa
John,
Fe.
There we go. We live on the street of holy faith.
You have just made Debbie's life, John. So way to go.
Yes.
Hey, 800-585-9396. If you live on a street named after a saint in a town or a city, or maybe there's some sort of entity near you that is named for a Catholic saint. The saints are all around us. So we very well may have time to fit you in at 1-800-585-9396. All right, Martin, you'll be right after Irma. Irma got in from Kansas, listening to EWTN radio there. Hi, Irma. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for taking my call.
Sure.
Yeah, I was about to talk about the same that God talked about a couple minutes ago before me, because I have brothers and sisters in California. And I realized California is kind of liberal, and they have a lot of saints. So hopefully, as you say, this is the way that they can, do better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. That's a great... Go ahead, Irma.
This is a beautiful program and interesting, so I will tell my brothers and sisters about this program. It's so beautiful.
Good. Oh, thank you, Irma. You're so sweet. But we agree with you. Jerry, you were going to add about that because you live in California, Jerry, so you can speak the best about the towns and cities.
Well, I was just going to say, hopefully, like you, I think you were the ones, Debbie, you said hopefully the pendulum can swing back. You know, when these towns and cities and so forth were named for the saints, it wasn't just because it sounded good or it rolled off the tongue nicely or whatever. It was named as a way of honoring them and bringing glory to God. And I think there, as Irma's pointing out, so many people, like especially in a state like California, might live in, and John pointed it out too, a city like San Jose or San Francisco, Santa Barbara, and never really even give it a thought. And yet you'd have to think, Debbie, if I'm in heaven, if I'm a saint, and they name a town after me, you better believe I'm going to be interceding for that town.
Yeah, you're going to be caring for it. Sure.
We have to keep that in mind, and Irma's is reminding us of that. I think it's a very, very great point she's making.
Right. So, Irma, your family and friends, they can listen to the show on YouTube. They can go to take2show.com. You can listen I believe we're playing again at the same time at night, right, Jerry?
Yeah, on EWTN radio.
Yeah.
There's an encore at that would be 11 p.m. Central Time in Kansas.
Yes.
Okay.
I came from Mexico, and in my hometown, my hometown is not named about the saint, but our patron is San Michael the Archangel.
Oh,
Debbie
lucky.
loves Saint Michael.
Oh, lucky, Irma.
Yeah.
Saint Michael the Archangel. Yeah.
Even if the town is not named by the saint, but most people in the feast of San Michael, they make a big feast in my hometown. And you can see in most of the houses the statue or the image of San Michael, which is so beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Well, you were blessed growing up, Irma. That's beautiful. I love it. Thank you so very much. And Jerry, we just got a YouTube comment just came in from England, from Kevin, saying I hope I read this correctly, in the county of Cornwall, England, it's a concentration of named after saints. He thinks there's more than 50 names in this area in England.
And Kevin, you really are going to have to call in and pronounce these for us.
Yes, because Saint Endelin,
Saint Endelion, Saint Q, Kew, Saint Kevern, Keverne.
Saint Hilary.
I'm sure he spelled them for Jeff, our call screener.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you take Saint Hilary. Okay, and you let me pronounce the hard ones.
Well, yeah, you're better at it. But isn't that cool? More than 50? Wow.
Yeah, that is really, really neat.
Amazing.
Thanks, Kevin, for sharing that from Staffordshire, England. Staffordshire.
I love it.
I probably butchered the name of his town, too, so I'm sorry about
That's
that.
another place I want to get to, Jerry, England. That's another one on my bucket list. Yep, I want to go. Okay, you promised Martin, so we got to go to Martin because Martin, you and Marty, my husband, you guys share the same name, Martin, from Houston, Texas on Guadalupe Radio. Hi, welcome to Take Two.
Thank you for taking my call. We have a wonderful Catholic university here in Houston, St. Thomas University. It's run by the Basilian Fathers, and my little nephew went to St. Thomas High School. The same fathers run the school, and it's 104 years old, the school is. But the university just built a $47 million science center, so they have a new, wonderful, for the last 5 years, nursing program here in Houston.
Nice.
Yeah, I've heard of University of St. Thomas. A lot of great stuff going on at that university, and you're very, very blessed to have that in your area. And
yeah.
Well, they also have a wonderful chapel on the grounds of the university, and I don't know if you're familiar with. There was a lady here in Houston, Miss DeManil. She built a museum, and she's part of the Schlumberger family. And she put the gold leaf on top of the dome. Well, she didn't, but she had it, done. And it's a really beautiful little chapel on the university grounds. And sometimes I go to mass there.
Martin, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. But also, too, Martin, I just wanted to say, because you sound so very passionate about your faith. Your name, Martin, you're very blessed. St. Martin's a very strong saint. I'm sure you probably read about your own personal patron saint, I presume, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And what was I just want to mention, Debbie, that I was wrong in the topic when I called in the station. But one time I constantly watch EWTN, and I saw the life story of Josephine Bakita. And I so fell in love with her. The next day I went on my computer to find out, and I found out she was such a sweet individual. I found out she was beatified by John Paul on my birthday.
Oh, wow. Look at the connection there.
Yeah, I was actually I was watching EWTN recently, and I think they showed that movie, Bakita. I'm not sure if EWTN produced it, or I think Ignatius Press might have produced it, but good reminder there, Martin. And just another quick word about the University of St. Thomas in Houston. It was founded in 1947 by the Basilian Fathers, and they are... It's a great institution, Debbie, because they adhere to the principles of Ex Corde Ecclesiae, which you may recall, Pope John Paul II put that out, which basically, was kind of laying down the law about how Catholic universities need to be Catholic, and they really follow that, and it says on their website, we take pride in educating leaders of faith and character.
Oh, I love that.
I know you love that. Yeah, I knew you would.
That's our mission statement. That's our mission statement.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, nice. Well, Barbara in Loveland, Colorado, listening on Denver Catholic Radio. Sorry we can't get to you, and Gladdy, you too, listening on St. Valentine Radio, and the others that are just coming in very quickly. You're so proud of your saints' names that are all around you, and that's awesome. Let's spend the day today reminding people. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go up and down to my neighbors when I see them outside getting the mail, and I'm going to say, do you guys realize we live on this street of faith? I mean, how cool is that? I'm going to try it, Jerry. I hope
some of them are probably going to go, duh, Debbie.
They probably will. But I'm going to try it. I'm going to say, we live on the street of holy faith. What do you think about that? I'm just going to see what kind of reaction I get.
Please report on Monday, will you?
I will do it. I promise.
Speaking of Monday, our next broadcast, again, sorry to all of those that we're just not going to get to. You hear the music there. It's been a fantastic week. Thank you all so much. Again, please support your Catholic radio station. Monday, our topic is like father or mother, like son or daughter. You hear the phrase, like father, like son, like mother, like daughter. So most of us take after our father or our mother, perhaps not exclusively, but in some predominant ways. So we're going to ask you, do you have the traits, characteristics more of your dad or your mom? Or do you even really, are you even really aware of that? And how does that play out in your life? So we're looking forward to that, Deb.
That's going to be a great show on Monday, but we want to wish you a beautiful weekend. Have a wonderful Easter weekend. We're celebrating. We'll see you real soon.